All right, dude. I think we're live here. So it says, oh, Greg, you want to turn off your, or Burnock, you want to turn off your TV?
Oh.
Here, I'll
Picking up
record.
everything, Burn.
All right, everyone. Let me hit this. Damn it. So it says, of course, this just screwed it up, everybody. All right, there we go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Conspiracy or Just a Coincidence. So today I have two of my longtime friends, fellow recovering addicts that I thought would bring some excitement to the show. So I got Scott Korn and Burnock. So why don't we start and you introduce yourself, whoever wants to go first.
Burn, go.
You said me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just friends with Joe, and I'm excited to jump on the show with the whole conspiracy or just a coincidence audience.
Nice. Everyone can ignore that.
You can call me Burnock. What?
Nothing. No, it doesn't matter.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
We'll get used to it.
And
yeah.
Scott, how about you?
I'm the same way. Yeah, Jack and I have been friends since diapers, so this newfound world is something I'm slowly learning about and want to give my opinion towards. So
nice, dude. So I wanted to have these guys on because you guys are the two funniest people I know. And I told them before, it's difficult for one person to be funny on the show. So I have a few things. So I wanted to start us off with a funny video. So I'm going to share the screen. So for people watching or listening, you can check out, I'll put it on my Twitter, but I want to get your guys' take on this. So let me pull it up. All right. And I'll make it as big as I can.
Yeah, I've never even used the bookmarks tab. Have you used
look
it?
at Brendan, dude. Is that Brendan Fraser?
Yes, I say that for my own humor. But
600-pound whale roll?
Let me get this.
You saw how big he was, Scott, in that other one with the HBO Max one. He was huge.
Oh, dude, my internet can't handle it.
He looks like his face is melting downward.
Scott, can you see the video?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll just watch this.
About to start whooping ass.
It's North Korea military video. Oh my gosh. Here we go.
원수들이 이 땅에 덤벼든다면 조국의 평문을 지켜 한번 그대로 무쇠 두목이 되고 번개 같은 비수가 될.
Now guys getting hit with wooden blocks, breaking them on his back.
Did you ever see Steven Seagal when he's like taking all fighters down with like one fell swoop? It's exactly what it's like.
Dude, isn't it? Why would someone, I'm going to keep playing, but why would somebody ever think like this will terrify people?
Oh, he's Paul. It's a show pony.
They're acting like guns like didn't exist. They don't exist in these battle fights.
What types of combat are these dudes taking? Oh my God.
Anyone listening, they're chopping through concrete bricks.
Yeah, it's like it's like American.
Oh my God, they're gonna hit him with a hammer. Oh my God.
Oh shit. Now what you get?
Oh my God, he's using his hand. Oh my.
All right.
Oh my God, he's sitting on glass.
Now.
It's like one of those clickbait videos.
Oh my, they're hitting a concrete block with glass as he lies on it.
Now we're taking a turn into the fair and carnival section. Dude, this is like a freak show.
I don't know.
That's a Chinese neck trap.
I think he's just horny and wants to see shirtless dudes.
Oh, he just ripped a chain off himself.
Yeah, hell yeah. This guy's gonna be the next villain.
Oh my God, he just broke more glass. All
우리 전투원들은
right, well, that's what I wanted to start us off with because I thought that was literally insane. But
So he's doing that in order to like pump him up. Like, look at these warriors I got.
right, so like North Korea is like they like so China props them up, but we probably prop them up. But like they claim all the like it's so horrible there, and it probably is. But I guess they do this because their people only watch it. I don't see. That's the thing. Yeah, go ahead.
They're like stuck in like that's like 1930s propaganda. Like the world's strongest man has like a few biceps. You know what I mean? It's like circus performance.
It is circus performers. It's
which is crazy that they believe it though.
Right. Well, dude, like they don't see anything, you know, but it's like you always have to have an enemy that's like a useful enemy for the US so we can spend more money like in the military. But I'd rather have our military look like that than look like how we look today.
Yeah,
I agree. Us look like that?
Yeah, dude.
Like just go out there and showcase
and go sleep on glass. Yeah, absolutely.
That's like something you would see in what's the superhero? Fucking Captain America.
Dude, that's so true. It's just like Captain America.
Yeah. Everyone cheers. Woo! It's like, oh God. We're not in a comic book.
It's wild, dude, like how that place still exists. Do you guys ever watch Vice?
Yeah.
Greg probably watched Vice too, right?
Yeah. The one, you know, there was always like ones of they had crazy ones.
Yeah. But they went into North Korea on the one. And
did that?
Yeah. And it's like
I would not do that.
Dude, right? But they like snuck back on cameras before they could put cameras in like a pen. But and they went in and like, you know, but I don't even, so this is like the craziest thought. What if all of that is propaganda? That was the one point of that maybe that's United States propaganda to show you like, oh, look how good you have it. Look how crazy they are there. They don't show Disney movies. They don't, you know.
Yeah, but I feel like it would be everybody, right? Because that's like if any European person goes into North Korea, they always report finding the same shit, unless it's like a big conspiracy of all the countries.
Well, that like I don't know if how much of that is true, but I think some of it is though, like to scare America. And this is like what they do. This is like this crazy theory, but that our freedom and stuff was really like a curse. Like, are we really free? Like you can't say certain things, like even now, especially on the internet and all those things like that. So that was like they overthrew these dictators and monarchies under the guise like, oh, you're not really free. But what did that freedom really bring us here? You know, like, so the thought is like, maybe the ultimate form of government was a monarchy, was a divine king and a church, as opposed to what we have now. Because you can see how corrupt Nancy Pelosi is, Burnock.
You can call me Greg. I don't. If you want. I'm not like, I don't care about.
That'll make it easy.
That'll make it much easier. But so I just wanted to show that video because I thought it was hilarious having them all. So my next thing I wonder, so these two guys both are big sports guys, as I'm not. So we'll start with Greg. What's your take on Kyrie Irving and not getting poked and all those things?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, I think if he doesn't want to, then I don't care. Like it's up to him, but it's also up to the league to like ban him, I guess. But I think it's like kind of messed up, you know. But they want to make an example out of him. That's what they do. I feel like they look down upon, like the league looks down upon the players, and they just want them to do what they say and just score the buckets, and that's it. Make us money, and he's fighting back for something he believes in. Andrew Wiggins believed in it too, but I mean,
he gave in
to believe it, but he gave in, because I would give in too, bro. If these guys are supposed to make like $30 million, $40 million or 20 million, you know what I mean? Whatever it is. And all of a sudden they're like, no, you're not going to get that unless you get the shot. You know what I mean? I'd get the fucking shot.
Yeah. That's how, like, so like my thing, Kyrie Irving they're catching each other at the wrong time too, because Kyrie Irving is slowly becoming more and more irrelevant because he didn't play at all last year. And what sucks for him is like, by not playing last year, what happened the year before? Was it like still COVID shit going on? Like he's just becoming less or more irrelevant. So if this was hitting when he was peak Kyrie, like then it might be more of the thing. But I think they're just gonna say like, oh, he's crazy, whatever, he's not in the league. Like any other players getting the shot, and including Andrew Wiggins. So Andrew Wiggins, Joe or Jack, fuck it.
It's all right, dude. Sorry. It's already happened.
Okay, so regardless, he was the second overall pick, like in the league, and he's had a rough go at it. But so money for him is important. Like, you know what I mean? If he can get handed 10 million, it's like Greg said, he gets handed 10 million. Okay, then he has that much more in his bank.
I'm sure there's a lot more players who want to speak up, but like, you know what I mean? They can't afford it. Like a lot of these guys, they're the breadwinner for their whole entire extended families.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And now you're telling them like, you can't do that. You can believe in this thing, or you don't. You know what I mean? Like some people.
I just don't like.
I didn't get it, the poke, but I would if I was in their position about to lose, and then they could get blackballed. Look how these leagues do people. Like,
I saw somebody brought up the point Magic Johnson was allowed to play.
Yeah, but did you see the tail end of that tweet?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so they said, well, Magic Johnson was allowed to play with full-blown AIDS. And someone quote tweeted it and said, yeah, but what's he going to do? Start butt-fucking one of the other players? Like, you know what I mean? And that's true. It's like there's a difference there, but at the same time, we're talking about HIV in the 80s versus the flu, and that's the frustrating part. It's like,
I'm sure people didn't want to play with him. Also, he was allowed to play, and then he retired right after because no one wanted to be around him. They didn't know about that you couldn't get it by just sweat and shit.
But my point is it's like we have the knowledge of what coronavirus is, and like if these super athletic young guys aren't willing to take the risk of playing someone who's not vaccinated, like that's not their mentality. Every one of them's doing it for the money, like, and maybe not to get sick, but like the league is the issue, in my opinion, is like, why do they care? It's the player's choice. If a player doesn't want to get sick, then fucking he needs to sit out.
They care. They don't even care, probably. They only care because it's money, and it's money because the states regulate it. Like he wouldn't have been able to play home games, so he would have had to lose half his games, and it's all stupid politics. You guys bring up
like an awesome point. Like, if it's not for your health? And I think that's what sends so many conspiracy people crazy, because clearly this isn't to keep somebody safe. It's a way bigger point than that.
It goes back to the mask mandate as a whole. Like, if you want, it's like pro-choice. Like, okay, if you really want to combat coronavirus and you don't want to get sick, then stay in your house and don't go anywhere. Like, that's how you avoid something. You know what I mean? Like, what do they always say? Like, how do you not get pregnant? Or like, what's the best way to avoid pregnancy is don't have sex. Like, so if you just don't do it, it's the same thing. It's like, okay, if you NBA players don't want to get sick, then you need to sit out, and that's your sacrifice. But the fact that they're like
himself back, Joe.
Me? Did I?
No.
On a tangent.
No, not at all. He's doing a great job.
No.
Scott's a good talk.
Am I muted?
No.
I can't hear.
Oh, you can't hear?
No, now I can.
Oh, all right.
But what happened?
Yeah. No, I don't know. Regardless, I lost where I was. But in the entire issue is the league as a whole. That's my 2 cents about it. Like,
is the NFL going to do the same?
They're all gonna. Well, the only one I don't know about, which I'm super intrigued about, is the NHL, because you're dealing with multiple nations at that point. Like the NBA is all US. Well, I guess one team, but with Toronto, but the NHL, a third, if not more, of the league is in Canada. So like,
but Canada's even stricter. So that's why.
So that's
yeah.
Oh, then there's your point. Then they probably will do it.
Okay, dude, it's like scary. I mean, it's crazy how much power. There's a Mussolini is in World War II. He's the Italian guy, and his quote was like, fascism should be really called corporatism, because when corporations dictate what the government should do, and that's like what you have here. You have the government or the corporate, dictating what private companies can do.
You can answer this for me then. So like who's the finger to point at then? So like the US has its views on it, and we say you must wear masks here and not here, or whatever our set of guidelines is for the month or whatever it is. What is going on in, say, China or a different, name any country in the world? Yeah. Like, are they unifying like at the UN level to like, these are mask mandates?
Definitely like the Western side. Like there's some countries in Europe that ban Moderna or whatever, and you never like know what's real or not. Like China supposedly isn't requiring its citizens to get vaccinated. They say that's against the rules, and you would think it'd be the opposite. So I don't know what, like, dude, I literally don't, but who's to blame is just greed.
Isn't the scariest part of it all is how easy this was? Like if they wanted to, you know what I mean? If they wanted to do something serious and wipe out a shit ton of people, all you do is come up with some sort of virus, bam. Look how many people just got a shot on a whim. I did.
Yeah.
And I'm an idiot. I'm a big fat
That's the
idiot.
whole point, Scott. That's
isn't that so? I know.
That's a great point, dude. It is. It was so easy. It was so easy. Yeah.
So dude, like, what was it? Like March came, and then all of a sudden everyone's freaking out, and then next thing you know, vaccine, everyone's got it.
Dude, I think that's.
I don't got it.
Point. I know, dude.
Not everyone. I know the deal.
So, Greg, I think this is like, because obviously people in like my community, we all feel super strongly about not getting it. But why? Because you aren't in that community. Why didn't you get it?
Dude, I just think I'm always a little weary whenever somebody like really wants me to get something, but they don't really have really good reasons. So like when it first came out, I was like, yeah, I'll get that. And then I was like, I'll wait a little. I'll wait for the next update to drop. It's like an iPhone. You know what I mean? I don't want to get the first couple batches because there might be something wrong with them. But then, bro, it's been like a year or whatever, a year and a half, and I haven't gotten in. I go out. I mean, I wear a mask in public, but I went to Florida to visit him. Yeah. Like I've done all these things when it was supposedly at its peak and I was fine. So then it's like, am I immune to it? Possible. Have I gotten it and just not gotten sick? Possible. Like, but it all comes down to like, am I afraid of, if I get it, do I think I'll die? Like, I don't think so. And I'm not afraid of it. So I'm in pretty good health. You know what I mean? I'm young. So that's my reason right now. Like, I just wanted to wait for more things to come out about it to be sure. And then the longer it's gone, it's making me think the longer it goes, like that I don't need it, that I never need it.
The less relevant it is.
Yeah. No, I just think it's like interesting.
Like Scott, if you didn't get it right now, if you went this long, like let's say hypothetically you never got that Johnson & Johnson, and it was like right now we were talking to you and you were planning on going. No, but that is a real thing. Like, would you feel inclined to get it?
No.
Going this far, like, would you be able to put yourself in my shoes and be like, yeah, I get where he's coming from?
No, and my big thing was the logic I went in behind it with was I just want to get this over with so I can live more normally, and that's such like a dumb reason to get something. But at the same time, it's like I feel like I'm lumped in with the rest of the herd, but like now knowing like what I know about it and the severity of it between like the flu, like I don't get my flu vaccine. So like, why did I jump at this? I want to say like I'm just a normal American consumer, you know what I mean? Like you see like some good food on TV. Ooh, now I'm gonna order it. Like I guess that's what happened to my brain.
No, I don't, dude. I mean, like if you're not paying, like, or if you don't really care, you just want to get by or not get by, but just live your life without being harassed and have to fight these things. It's what most people would do. Because like,
to be honest, I did it. So I thought getting it would have me, I wouldn't be wearing a mask anymore. And that's probably the main reason, because I hated that. So annoying.
But it didn't change anything about that.
Well, they took it. I mean, they said that was the one. Like, if you get this,
I know. Mask.
But
Yeah,
But then
so I bought into
that turns out it was bullshit anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
I think they just, dude, they've been lying to us about for everything forever. So why not lie some more about this?
Yeah.
Well, dude,
I mean,
there's a funny meme I had, like it was I don't know, it's not Ad or Borla, that's the CEO of Pfizer, but whoever's top at Pfizer, he worked at the FDA. He was the chief FDA officer for 4 years ago. He was the big guy at the FDA. Now he's at Pfizer. And like they're so corrupt. I think I have told you, I'm sure, but anybody listening, the artificial sweetener that's in all of our diet sodas that I drink as well, that aspartame was banned at the FDA 3 times. And then it took Donald Rumsfeld, who played a part in 9/11. He became chief FDA, whatever. And his quote was, "I called in all my chips." He got aspartame passed in the 80s. And then he got a $25 million bonus working from some private companies the moment he quit. So like, I just don't like people that yell at us, yell at you to listen to this. They don't, it's like insane how they can still trust this organization that's just so blatantly corrupt. Yeah.
And when you
Yeah.
say organization, what are you referring to? The government as a whole, or like the FDA?
Yeah. Well,
or
like the
CDC?
FDA. Yeah. Any, FDA,
Yeah.
all those things. They're all, who Dwight Eisenhower was, World War II, general, then became our president. His quote was, watch out for the military industrial complex. We need to stop that. And also government funded science. And that's all we have today is government. That's what grants are for. It's all government funded science.
The Tuskegee experiment.
Yes, dude. The Tuskegee experiment. Do you know what that is, Scott?
no.
The Tuskegee experiment was I think it was black inmates, or it might have just been regular black people.
I think it was just lower income black people in the South in the 30s that were exposed to syphilis.
Yes, and they gave them syphilis. We have 1932 to 1972, and they infected, I think it was like an insane number. They just gave it to them to watch what would happen. And
Isn't
they told
that
them,
some shit?
I didn't
Yeah,
even know they gave it to all of them. I thought some of them had it, but the point was, Scott, that they told them they were going to study them and study the long-term effects of syphilis. And during the time of the study, so they started them in the 30s and 40s, and in the mid 50s, penicillin came out and was curing everyone of syphilis long-term, but they never told the hundreds of participants or whatever the number was for the next 20 years. They just kept showing up and taking their blood, doing their studies on them, and just basically let these guys' health deteriorate so they could do their study. So it's like,
isn't that some shit?
So some of these guys, a lot of them died and some lived, and it's like when they find out, how do you trust anything? Like, oh, we're involved in this FDA study.
Well,
They've got penicillin since 20 years ago, man. Like,
well, no, they get it. They get people over that by doing a rap video with cartoons telling you to get the vaccine.
Yeah, that's all you're gonna see. Like I said, it's like gonna be like comical. It's gonna be like Truman Show level comical when like that kind of commercial comes across my TV with some fancy jingle and like, you know what I mean?
That's what they do. I'm trying to think which rapper they got to do it. Yeah, dude. There's a commercial. It's like a black rapper. It was.
They have a lot of those videos of famous people getting the shot and
I don't see any commercials. I'm one of those people. I don't have cable.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't see it. We don't see it because but I'm putting it up right now once I get this.
Bon, who is it? Who's Daryl D? Oh, it's God. This isn't real.
No, it's real, dude. It's absolutely real.
This is for my uncle. DMC.
I think it's right. It's run. Yeah, you never saw this.
But no person under 25 is gonna go, oh look, it's DMC.
Dude,
this is so dumb. Get it all.
Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna change the topic, dude. I don't know why my computer. Okay, so I know we already talked about this, Scott, but the John Gruden email. So I'll get Greg's opinion first. and then I'll get Scott. So Greg, obviously,
what do you want to know? What I think about Gruden?
Big Gruden.
I want to know what you feel about this whole situation, about his emails, about what that means for society, all those things.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't really look into it much to see exactly what was in his emails, but I just think it's kind of, I mean, you obviously shouldn't be saying bad things. Like, didn't he offend like 5 different sects of people?
That was the best. Was the ESPN? It was Adam Schefter. He said John Gruden with the clean sweep of irritations or whatever, or offenses.
He hit for the cycle of offending people. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's obviously the stuff he was saying was bad, but like, how did they obtain those emails? Like, I think it's fucked up that you could just go in and start reading people's emails. I think it's also fucked up that he's saying stuff you shouldn't be saying when it could be on wax.
Yeah, I mean, he
like on
that like permanent. Paper. Written with a pen.
Like, remember when we got drilled when we were growing up, because we grew up in that certain age about the internet, and like anything you put on Facebook's permanent, like anything you put online is permanent. You know what I mean? Like,
but we've also been through like the transition of words too. You know what I mean? Like throughout like our lifetime, like when we were younger, whatever was I don't know, gay was more acceptable then. I feel like all this shit is starting to change, but like, I don't know. For me, the whole point is like, it's like you were hinting at it. It's like you can't say certain shit, and if you're in a public figure or you are a public figure like he is,
didn't they catch him like sending nude pictures of cheerleaders between like?
Yeah, well, so the big thing was,
so like, I mean, he seems like he's a scumbag, but I do think the way you obtain the stuff is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Isn't it privacy? Like, you know what I mean, Joe? Isn't that one of the amendments?
Yeah.
Invasion of privacy.
Yeah, but you guys know about his horny brother, right? It's definitely his horny brother that was getting him in trouble because. So this is a part of the story that this community might not know, but Jay Gruden. Yeah, so Jay Gruden. This is how it all came out, by the way. Jay Gruden, or this is at least my view on it. John's brother Jay worked for the Reds, formerly known as the Redskins. The Redskins were, their owner is the guy who's in trouble. That what's his name? He's the guy who has like, he's got so much fucking money. You would know his name. It's gonna slip my mind, but Dan Snyder. Dan Snyder. Dan Snyder's in trouble for like all this shit, a lot of shit to do with the treatment of the cheerleaders and stuff. And Jay Gruden was like numerous times quoted as like being aggressively horny to the cheerleaders. So they're looking into the organization as a whole, and I think that's where the stuff came about, because they got to Jay, and then I don't know if Gruden had anything to do with them at the time, but that's why he's lumped into all the cheerleader nude picture shit. It's because of the stuff going on with the Redskins.
I mean, I don't think it's right to fault a guy for saying his own opinion to what he thought was one other person, but at the same time, if you're going to be in public and you share those opinions, if they get out, you kind of got to know what you know what I mean? Like what you're in for.
What do you think of his son?
You're choosing that
Deuce.
Deuce. Kept the job through the storm.
Who's Deuce? Is that his brother?
That's his son, dude.
Deuce Gruden.
Who would name
still on the
Deuce?
Team? The same guy sending those crazy emails.
That must have been his second son.
Yeah, better not be
very good. And that's why I asked you guys on for
That's amazing, though, about that he looks just like the.
Yeah, for anyone listening, I got a picture of John Gruden's son, Deuce, who looks just like that karate man that you beat up like at the gym or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he's still on the team. Refuses to quit.
I think he's holding it down, dude.
He refuses to quit?
Imagine going in and seeing one like your starting defense man who's like 6'3",
why should he quit?
260.
Did he get
like,
caught doing anything, Scott?
No, but it's just funny. You're guilty by association.
Nah,
The
let
apple
him go.
doesn't
He
fall
doesn't
far
have
from the tree, Greg. I can't imagine dude's
Well, or he's
screwed.
got his dad like in a headphone. You know, Dad, what's the next play? Maybe he'll like be calling plays from afar.
No, he's a strength guy.
Oh,
That's all
he's really?
he does. He's
I
Yeah,
thought he was
so
like
when
on the
he's-
field.
like you think one of those huge defense ends just gonna be cool with, his dad was just telling someone else's whatever.
So he's getting paid for nothing. He's probably like he's like spotting some people in the gym.
$100,000 a year to be like, yeah, lift this real heavy weight. You're gonna get big and strong.
That's pretty cool though when you think about it. Like $100K. Like think about how those NFL guys get jobs. It's all like
best job in sports.
I already know
this one's the bullpen catcher. All he does is catches a bullpen and gets $100,000 a year.
No, but
Imagine
Scott, don't you think it's
25.
better to be your dad's the coach? You're on the payroll, like you said, $100,000, and you have a weight room job. Like that's like in The Sopranos, a no-show job. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
true.
better than being a catcher. You could be thrown out and dropped if they're just mad at you.
A lot of people hate the coach's kid, though. A lot of people hate the coach.
Who cares? You're untouchable. Look at Andy Reid's kids.
Dude, if anyone listening Andy Reid, didn't his kid like crash did he kill somebody?
Kill somebody. Yeah.
Maybe, but then he killed himself at Lehigh. He OD'd in the.
No, but what about the other one?
The other one, Greg. This is second one even worse.
You didn't hear this, Greg?
Oh, I thought the first one had like DUIs and manslaughter.
He did.
No.
And then he OD'd. I didn't. Pull it up.
All right. Scott can talk while I pull it up.
Yeah, but from what I remember, I'm probably about to shoot myself in the foot, but I believe his first kid, like you said, he either OD'd or committed suicide. Then his second kid, who is a coach and Joe, I think he's an on-field coach, but I think he was involved with the Chiefs pretty heavily, and he like ran over. He's had his issues, but he ran over someone.
Yeah, trial date set for Andy Reid's son.
Yeah,
it was right before the Super Bowl. He was in talk. Andy Reid's the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. For people that don't
Brett
know.
Reid. Yeah, the first one was Brett Reid.
Yeah, so this guy he hit a young
Andy, not that creative with his names, Britt and Brett.
Yeah,
true.
God,
I'm sure he was very present in both of those children's lives.
Yeah, for sure.
The kid hit a 5-year-old girl and a mom in a car, and I think he was high on Adderall and had a few drinks, and it was right before the Super Bowl, dude. And now he's.
I remember that.
I don't think he killed him though, but
he didn't. Okay,
I don't think so.
See, that's why it's good to pull up an article so we don't say the wrong thing.
Well, speaking of drugs, and I wanted you guys to see this. So just like go back to how it's not about health. Oh yeah, so drug overdose deaths in the U.S. have reached a record high of 96,000 during the first 12 months of the COVID-19 pandemic.
What's the big government saying the issue? Like, what are they?
I think they just
people
ignore
are just
it.
at home and bored. No, but like, what's the cause?
Mainly driven by increased use of opioids.
Oh yeah, it's fentanyl. What am I saying? I'm an idiot.
No, it's created a perfect breeding ground for addiction, with many turning to opioids to cope with job losses and death of loved ones. They got to wrap in, the COVID into there somehow. So it's death of loved ones. But what's so crazy, dude, is like when we all started using drugs, it was not because of like some turmoilous or whatever event that happened in our life.
There was no trauma. We were bored teenagers.
Right. And but I maybe that's easier for people to understand. It's like, oh, it's, but I feel like people always lie about that. They'll say like, oh, I got in an accident and I was on opioids and then I just can't. And I'm sure that happens to people. But
I think it happens a lot. But
so that's the one that I actually do believe are the people who like have some major surgery and like they kind of like get sucked into it. But like, I don't know, dude. I've never been the one to where like I've never remembered once in all my years of using drugs and drinking that I felt like it was solving an issue. I was just like mentally, I was like, now I feel awesome. Like that's like the only difference. Like your problems don't wash away; they kind of just get redirected.
So I don't know if you Cocaine Cowboy, Scott. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes. But so basically, I have the book. I think on me, right?
How's the book?
It's not Cocaine Cowboys, but it's all about it. So it's called Barry and the Boys. So basically, what this book's about is like how it was American Made with Tom Cruise. Right?
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, Barry Seal, how basically they're like, he was running drugs for the CIA. Like the government brings in these drugs. They allow the drugs to come in. And what they're more conscious about getting is the trucks going out with the cash. But they killed him because he had George Bush and Bill Clinton's phone numbers in his cell phone. And so he thought he was untouchable. And he got recruited to the CIA in like the 60s. To start flying because he lived in Arkansas. That's where Bill Clinton's home state. And it was a small airport. They were bringing a lot of drugs in that way. And, but yeah, it's just like all the drug epidemic is created because they, think how many things it funds. It funds rehabs, it funds cops, it funds jails, it funds pharmaceuticals.
And, dude, once you get into that world, like me working in I think all of us went through treatment and then I worked in it. And once you see the money involved, like it's like monopoly money, honestly, because like the insurance company for someone to pay to do like a 60-day stint at like a nice
$2,000
rehab
a day, right?
Yeah. You're looking at like upwards of 50 or 60 grand, like even more. And like that's so crazy because like if you have an insurance policy, like that money, you don't even see that money getting moved. You know what I mean? Your kid's just rehab, but like somehow the insurance company is just handing over all this money. It's insane the amount of money thrown around.
Dude, wow. And even like, and you heard that about in Florida, like where you were, what do they call it? Patient brokering, where like people like give somebody $1,000 to get somebody into rehab, right? That's what they do.
Yeah. So they'll give you $1,000 and a couple bags of heroin. You do it, you piss in a cup, and then you come to that person's treatment center because that $1,000 they just gave you is turning into 60 grand in their pocket through the insurance company. So that's all they do. They just throw money around. But like, I would love to know, and maybe it's out there on the internet, but like what rehab / treatment, all that stuff does for, say, the state of Florida. Like, what does that look like in terms of percentage, how much money it's bringing in? Because it has to be, has to be a huge part of that state's income as a whole. Like, I bet it's tourism,
that's a great point.
Some other bullshit, and then probably like drug and alcohol stuff because that's
a really good point. Because you need incentives to keep corrupt things open. That's a great incentive. Because think how many let's look. How many rehabs are in Florida?
Yeah, you own
so many.
Whatever number, triple it, I bet.
Oh, because you think there's unnamed ones?
It's the patient brokering ones that you're talking about. So you'll probably find a number of like real ones, which is good.
I don't even know if I'll be able to. It's like, but that's why there's so many. But dude, isn't that sickening though? Like that. So look how much stuff that props up. Like the drug, it's just and you honestly think that if the government didn't want drugs coming into the country, they couldn't stop it. Like, they easily, dude, like there's so many, there's one rehab for every 1,500 residents in Florida with a population of 21 million.
There you go. So whatever that math is, it equals a lot.
And that's the most per capita in any state. The next closest one is Texas, I guess. 6,000 people.
Probably California.
Yeah, that one's not on there for some. I don't want, I wonder. But yeah, that's just literally crazy. Per capita, right. And you get
the
people
best
from all
part,
over the state, right? Or all over the country.
all over the country. Yeah, dude. It was when I was there. It was there might have say there was like 25 kids to keep it on somewhat round number.
Yeah.
5 might have been from Florida. Everywhere else was, yeah. And then what they do is, so like the place I was at, we won't get into too many of that nitty gritty details, heaven forbid, but like they had a guy in the Northeast and he would send people down. Like that's, he ran something successful in the Northeast and he would just, it was like, I always compare it to like baseball. It's like the farm system. He's feeding them, like, oh, I got to.
Or Joe, what about that guy that we knew? I won't say his name, but he talked to Scott.
It's the same thing. It's all
did he get kickbacks, you think?
I don't know if he got.
Of course.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Scott's right, but
it's
sending
gross
people down.
It's also gross money. It's like it's like bounty hunting for struggling crack.
All 3 of us, we all went to rehab if anyone's confused. Scott went to Florida, but we all knew this one guy that was like because I was the first one to get in real trouble. So I went and this just goes to another point too. So anyway, he had power. He helped quote unquote all of us or whatever. And he eventually gets in trouble because he's is paying sex addicts $20 to, even though he's married with a kid, to hook up with them, forcing them, negotiating with them on prices. Now he was with the government. And this just goes to the point that like all powerful people shouldn't, like the people that have power are the people that shouldn't have power. Like no normal person, wants
but don't
to have
you think power corrupts people? Like if he started off with good reasoning as to why he's doing this, but then little by little he starts to make connections. Now little by little, now he's talking to Congress. Now he has all these responsibilities. Now he starts to creep in his mind and he gets tempted and 6 months later he's canceled. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, those people just aren't. I think they don't have direction along the way. You know what I mean? It's because money. It's talked about so often that it's like annoying at this point. But like you hear about all the people winning the lottery. What happens to them? You know what I mean? It's like you get gifted all these things, but you don't have like the direction to guide your own life. And that's something where like and it sounds so corny, but like being in recovery, you kind of learn that process of like, okay, my ego's about to get really big because this is happening, and like you keep yourself in check, where a normal person, like you guys were saying, just it can corrupt them. But this guy's like the anomaly.
I think though that like to Greg's, power corrupts, yes, but people also gravitate, people that lack self-confidence, lack self-esteem, they gravitate toward these positions of power, like police and like I
was gonna say that,
whatever, because there are absolutely good cops, don't like it, but a lot of them are arrogant weenies that finally have all this power, so they're going to yell at a man that clearly is happier, stronger, whatever, has all things that they lack, but now they have a badge, so they can do whatever force you to do whatever you want.
Well, think of our generation and how often that like quote unquote power is going to be transferred in terms of like being an influencer and stuff. You know what I mean? As soon as you get a following, you're going to start acting a different way, unless you have someone to keep you in check. And not many people do.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. No, but I wanted to bring the drugs up because I knew I think that was a good little segment there.
We all have our opinions on the matter.
So you guys are two gamblers, or sports gambling. Sorry, my cat's Loki.
Did you see the video I sent you, Joe? Or
where'd you send it to me?
On Snap.
Oh, Snapchat? I don't have Snapchat anymore, bro.
It said it went through, but you never opened it. But it's 3 years ago today. It was me at your apartment with your cat. That's what it was.
Wow, that's funny, dude. That's awesome. But
remember when I went to look at those apartments in Lansdale?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. All right, so I wanted to bring up since Greg and I were talking about like you guys bet on sports and the IRS coming for these little earnings and things like that. I'll just ask Greg first. Like, what do you think? How do you think the gambling population has grown in America, right, since the invention of these apps and everything?
Yes, I think it's growing exponentially as the state regulations expand. I think it's growing exponentially, the popularity and the amount of people who are just interested in it, whether it be a casual bettor or somebody who's addicted.
Scott, you think there's a lot of newly addicted?
Oh, dude, it's gonna be the new
really?
nicotine patch. Oh, yeah, because there's not a kid like over the age of 25 who hasn't gambled on sports in one way or another, just because of the sheer convenience, dude. You go to a
we would have been gambling, dude, if we could have when we were 18.
Yeah,
we were playing
that's
fantasy.
What I'm saying.
We were betting with our buddies like at lunch, $20 over the weekend on a game. You know what I mean? Now it's so easy.
Yeah. You and your boys are going to a bar and you're just out of college and they're all taking whatever game. You're going to throw on it. You're going to learn how to use the app, and then boom, there it is.
Even you, Jack, you'll throw money on the Super Bowl. Like
I did
even
throw money on the Super Bowl. Yes,
exactly. You know what I mean?
I was just because, dude, I hear people more and more people talk about it, and Scott, I like your. So what? Like I know people that sell all these. I talk to you about it. Sell like these plans and stuff. But would you say the best gambler usually averages at like the winnings?
Like the best is a 60% gambler. So you're looking at a record of like, when you're all said and done after 100 straight picks, a record of 60 and 40, and that's like the best of the best. Like 60% is insane. So, you watch 100 games and 40 of those you're going to get wrong and lose your own money. Like that's insane, but that shows the power of it, because that feeling, I mean, we just talked about it, the drugs in our background, but that feeling of winning money because something cool happening in sports in which you already enjoy is happening is top tier. So yeah, there's going to be kids who have never felt that way about anything, and they're going to discover it, and then boom, away you go.
Damn, dude, that's scary that you guys just said. Like, you're right now. I mean, I just didn't think of how many new young kids who bet but you can only bet what's like in your account, right? It's not like you could just use a credit card, or can you?
No, I think that's going to be like the new wave. Greg, do you know? I don't know off the top of my head if you can use a credit card.
I don't.
Can you use it?
I mean, I've seen them on there. I've never used a credit card because I think if you use a credit card, you're going to get charged on the card, like
for like a cash. Okay.
Cash advance.
Yeah,
so. But I mean, people will do it.
That didn't stop kids from stealing their parents' credit cards to buy oxycodone 30 milligrams.
No, not at all.
Yeah, dude, you know how it is. You know what I mean. You can or steal their parents, their mom's just debit card and run it up. A lot of these sports books, unless you're pre-approved, they're gonna let you from day one do up to like $2,000 a day, unless you go in and change the settings.
Jeez.
And the big thing is, to me, gambling runs solely on fear. Greg and I often talk about it. It's like when you say you just started today, right? And you lost your first bet. Well, you wouldn't be happy that you're down. Say you bet $50 on the game. You'd be mad. So what are you going to do? Oh, I need to get it back. And then you just start chasing it.
Damn, dude.
And if your results are, if a professional is going 56%, what do you think your results are? You know what I mean? And then you're forever chasing.
Yeah, but theoretically, if you have enough money, that's the martingale system. You would
double down
it back.
On everything.
Yeah, that's like but
is that an actual tactic?
Yeah, it's called it's called the martingale system. You, for every loss, the next you double down. It's like people do it in roulette, but eventually you'll run out of bankroll, or there will be limits on the bet. So theoretically, if you lose 50 straight and you're doubling, it's going to be too much of an ante. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like Joe, like you go down $20. All right, well, next game I'm just going to put 40. All right, well, I lost that one, so the 80, and you just eventually the number gets too high, and that's where you find yourself quite often. And
it's a great way to. I've done it before on like roulette or blackjack, but if you don't have a big bankroll, it's not going to work. Like
right.
Yeah.
Think about this. Think about like starting with 500 and doing a $2 bet, losing for a 16. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have to have that cushion, a few hundred. Otherwise, I'm telling you, you're gonna have an 8-loss streak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people
And then
have
you're
that,
done.
I'm sure.
And
Yeah.
I'm wondering, to people that aren't in gambling, does what we're talking about even, you know what I mean? Or is this like a different language we're now speaking?
Well, I think like I listen, you know, it's so popular now, dude. It's amazing. And like, think of all this, the issue. I mean, not that I like struggle with this, like drugs and all this, like vices. Should they be legal and have no, like, you know, all drugs?
I think legalize everything, like that other country, Joe, Portugal or whatever.
Yeah, they do criminalize, but yeah. So
yeah, you know,
I'll ask both. That's a good. It's kind of so, Greg. Should everything be legal essentially instead of
say
like
yes.
the libertarian viewpoint? You can't hurt somebody, you can't steal from somebody.
I say yes. Legalize everything for adults and
consenting
adults.
That's it.
You see that I wrote a report on it in college, and the crime goes down.
Yeah,
it's proven. But they don't want the crime to go down because they want to keep us in the court system, in the system. I'm telling you, bro. That's...
Scott, I'll ask you: what do you think that drugs and everything should be legal?
So my thing, the question I have is like, okay, you say the crime goes down, but does the quality of life go up? Because like, I know, like, say I wasn't even comparing, or say way back when I was struggling, like, and I still wasn't committing a crime, but my life sucked, like. So I don't want someone else to have to go through that struggle because it's
but they're gonna do it anyway. They're gonna do
but
it
I
anyway.
don't know if they will, dude. Like if I could walk into a liquor store, like
if you want to do it, you're gonna do it.
I don't know. I mean,
it's harder. It was harder to get liquor, but I know what you're saying.
So my point is this. So like then why don't people quit smoking more? Because of the convenience of it. Like it's not illegal, so you're not doing anything wrong. Like, you know what I mean? You're only harming yourself type shit. And you can buy it at any store you walk into. So if that was the same with cocaine.
Yeah, but I don't think I should dictate anybody. I think if an 18-year-old wants to smoke a pack a day, let him. I'm not going to because I know the
staunch libertarian, Greg.
Yeah, I'd say so. Jeez. Whoa.
Do you know what libertarian is, right? So that used to be my viewpoint, though, is like, especially using drugs when I was and like, you know, a little while I believed, you know, consenting adults, open to everything. You can do what you want. And there's both like right answers, like, right. People should be able to do what they want, but it gets to what Scott said. It's like, I'm at the point now, like what benefit does that bring? So now you have less crimes and all those things like that. But if the goal is to have a healthy, successful, great society that you can build, you know, an empire with, you would not want drugs to be legal because it just screws up your. But I know that's a ridiculous.
But they're doing them anyway. You would agree that people were doing them anyway.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Are you saying you can stop people from doing them?
No, I'm just saying.
That we all.
I might have the level of comfort that at least. I don't know. Like I don't want to have to sit across from someone and worry if they're high on cocaine. So that for them to be.
But they are anyway.
I know.
They are.
That's the point. That's the point. Mentally,
I was high on cocaine every day for years and across from everybody.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with the law.
And they all knew it too.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, okay.
But so
scrapes all
over. High right now. Well, wouldn't that be funny if I was like high on coke right now?
So Greg, if you're a perfect side, you think that, so I guess this is what it comes down to. Like, what do people want? Like, you know, ultimate freedom. That's like what the point where I'm struggling at, because libertarianism, you know, it's basically the Constitution and you're on your own. There's no real social safety nets or anything like that. But if you're like, if we want to have a ultimate freedom, then that's the way that the country should go. It should lose all these rules. But if I think that you wouldn't, that country that with ultimate freedoms wouldn't be something that you could proudly give to your next generation to have. And that's why, like, I disagree with
based on what?
Well, because it's kind of that do what thou will.
Do you think that like everyone would just like, if you drive down the street, there'd just be more junkies around if all drugs were decriminalized?
I think that you'd have a
I
lot
don't
more
think so.
people.
I think if anything, I think there would be an onset in the first few years of legalization, but I think eventually it would tail off, and I think there would be more real world examples that you could point to, like when everything's under the rug and everything's tucked away and it hush hush. Like when we were kids in the '90s going to Dare, you know what I mean? They would tell us this stuff about drugs, but then you believe it. But then once one thing is off, you don't believe anything. Now, if it's all comes down to education and like, I don't know. I'm just going off of in Portugal when they decriminalized everything went down.
Right. And you're right on that, dude. Crime did go, because there's all this, you're not arresting minor drug offenses. But I think that like the point I'm trying to make is it would be, if it was a ideal world to be able to make these, like, drugs does not make a society better. You know what I mean? Like if you want to have an American empire, whatever, not an empire, but a proud country, legalizing drugs is definitely not the way that should go.
I think you're right. It wouldn't make it necessarily better, but I don't think it would make it necessarily worse.
I think that's fair too.
I think
that you could like point out and be like, look, it's worse now. I was right. You know what I mean? I don't think there would be
you're right.
enough data.
And we've come, like, as a society now, we've come so far in America now that like we can start identifying, like, I think now would be a bad time for this to happen because it's like more divide. But like if you did this back in the 50s when it was like, I don't know, there was clearly still social divide, but it was like, I feel like it was much more simpler then. So like it would just be like reprimanded in a different way. Yeah. Like if Johnny's now a cokehead and he wasn't before, he's gonna get like patronized by society. Nowadays, it's like we have to support. I don't know. It's like weird timing wise too.
It is weird though too, because you think it was like simpler, but like, and maybe it was, but like stuff was worse too. Like everybody worked in
that's true. That's
and like
I have that debate with myself all the time.
And like things for like other. I mean, I know we're white, but like black, it was a lot worse back then.
How about
isn't
this,
the whole reason of the whole weed being illegal in the first place because of racism? You know what I mean? Like,
but how about this though? We say that black definitely were not treated, and especially in the South, but everything in the black community in the 50s was better than it is today. Like you had two-parent for 90% of all families had two-parent household.
That's crazy.
Literacy rate, and what changed all that was what's his name? LBJ, who was an abhorrent racist, passing the Great Society, which gave welfare, if you had a father not in the house, they would give you $1,000, as opposed to if you had a father in the house, they wouldn't give you that $1,000. And that alone destroyed the black community, because now you're incentivized someone to leave, for the father to leave. It's just.
Yeah, but they could walk down the street back then and get lynched. That's what I'm talking about. Like they could be like killed because they whistled. Now that's not how it is now.
Right. That was one. That was one story. But
that happened a lot, bro. I know that I know the one you're referring to.
Probably in the South that happened, but in the 50s, I don't like. By that time in the North, I think it was relatively. They just they didn't commingle.
It was at least like normalized, I would say.
But they had their own communities. That was like
exactly, separated but normalized.
Right. It was. You probably wouldn't want to go in the black community if you were white, and vice versa.
No. Yeah.
But I don't know how I got on that.
That is some crazy shit. Yeah, same. But that is fun. Yeah,
I think we were talking about like time period, but the whole government involved with drugs, it's not because they actually care for us. That's like I think the distinction. They don't make it illegal because they want you.
And I don't think that. I think if they did care for us, they would legalize everything and decriminalize everything and not treat people like. Look at like the European countries, Joe. That they a lot more education and a lot more like in treatment. They're getting you integrated into life. You know what I mean? They're getting you the job. I know they like fake do that over here, but. Like, what I'm saying? Like, that's what keeps somebody clean, like getting a life again.
Yes,
not
absolutely it does.
not like, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely, yeah.
that's what, like, I think that's the main thing, like wanting to be a part of society again.
Well, so that's why I always go back to, like, they've made this such a bad word, like nationalism. But like, if you could find your purpose, like, within church or within your country, to be like you work now at a factory job where you're making cars for your fellow Americans, like it was in the, the 50s, 40s, 50s, all those, you had so much more purpose. And now in 2021, we're so like boxed into our internet, and we have no pride. They've stolen it. We shouldn't even be, they make us fight over race when really we should all be thrilled that we're, working to make a better America. But they make that a bad word. It's so sad where we're like, I don't see where we're going. It's going to be
a lot of people don't care, bro, about America. Like, a lot of people are fed up, like you are. They don't trust anything. So why should they care about?
Well, this America, yes, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Why should anyone take anything the government says?
But then, like, you get it, like the other half of the world who's like, they feel that their purpose on earth is to like defend some cause, and like, but no, that's just like provoking you to argue with more fucking people. And that's
true.
So annoying. It's exhausting to live that way. So if your direction like isn't towards something positive, whether that's spiritually or whatever, if it's not aimed towards something positive, if it's defending some group online, like if that's what drives you to get out of bed at night, you're fucked. Like, I hate to say it, but you're gonna have a miserable existence, because then you're coming home not to enjoy time with like your family or watch your favorite show. You're defending, or you're about to go online to scream at people, which is an insane person's existence.
And that's what they pushed a lot of people. That's their identity, where people used to find identity somewhere else, maybe in church or maybe in family or something. But
I think the pendulum, I've said this to you before, I think the pendulum will swing back, where like at one point in time, I would say almost when we were growing up, it was super corny, and maybe even nowadays, it was almost corny and old if you were like conservative. And now I have a feeling within 10 years, like this whole woke movement will be looked upon that way. Like, dude, how do you live your life that way? That looks exhausting. Like, you know what I mean? And then that's how some of us feel now, and that's how I feel. But it's like, in 10 years, just wait. They're going to be the outlier.
I'll put a bet on that. We'll see if it comes true. So
what's the bet? I missed it.
I'm just saying
that it'll get less woke.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Less woke or more woke?
Less. And 10 years time, the pendulum will swing back.
Do you mean like in terms of like the amount of people will be less woke or more woke?
I just think, the amount of people. I think
because
it's going to be woke.
Joe, look, as the population increases, just off of like as the numbers are going up in the population, the amount of dumb people goes up too. So the amount of people not caring, that is getting bigger as the amount of like, this is also increasing, but I think that this overtakes it. It's compounding at such a rate.
That's a positive note to end on, that it's going to get better.
No, I'm saying it's not. I'm saying it's
also. Dude, I thought you were saying there's more people.
No, I think also shout out to Loki. I love that. But no, I'm saying more people will, in terms of a number, but in proportion, like you can't overtake. There's too many idiots.
I don't know. It's just going to be. We just need to like corral the idiots. Yeah.
Well, there's a whole lot.
Well, guys, I liked if you guys want to, keep doing. I got tons of topics and I can bring you on, but tell everyone where they can find you. Greg, you can go.
It's at Burnock.
All right.
Jack retweets me and stuff.
Yeah, I'll retweet you.
If you want to follow me. We'll be on. Me and Scott will be on again.
No, I would love it, dude. Sure. I loved you guys on it. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'm here whenever.
Why are you ending now, Joe? You gotta go to bed.
Well, I gotta go read, dude, because tomorrow I got my show on Alan Dulles in the CIA. So, Greg, you want
to give me a sneak peek, because I might watch it. What's it about?
So, how the CIA was created, and how they killed Kennedy, how they, overthrew governments for their corporate masters like Guatemala and all this stuff.
So
when
was the CIA in the 40s, 50s, or 60s?
So
like
it was the
around Kennedy's?
OSS before the CIA. That was during World War II, the Office of Strategic Services. And then it ended after the war because they said, oh, we don't need a spy apparatus. And Alan Dulles made sure it came back like a few years later. I think 48, he got it. And it's just grown into a monster ever since. They killed Kennedy.
Damn.
They've done it all, dude.
Do you think
Those
they did?
rat bastards.
I always thought it was something to do with the Federal Reserve taking out Kennedy because of
No.
That's
switching
like
from the banking system.
That would be great if that was true, but the thing that people reference that isn't correct. They say he signed an executive order that they were going to go back to the silver and American current, a U.S. currency as opposed to Federal Reserve, and that's not what the executive order says. People just say.
Well, then, why did they go back to the U.S. currency for those few? It was only during that 1 year. Then when he got killed, it went away.
He made an executive order. Something was silver, but it wasn't a positive thing for the Like it wasn't. They didn't create.
But no, they were United States notes as opposed to Federal Reserve notes.
He wanted to do something. I can send you the reference of.
Well, no, I'm telling you that the notes that came out were United States notes. They were the red sealed ones, the currency. They were United States notes, not the green ones.
But he didn't base anything get off the Federal Reserve with them. Like maybe there was he was printing new currency with the
the Federal Reserve notes are backed by the Federal Reserve, like the greenbacks. Those red ones weren't. They were just United States notes. And then as soon as he got killed, like I had one, it was $100 bill.
I'm sure you have one, but I don't think that's what it meant. We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out and bring some sources, and we can have a debate on the currency.
Okay.
All right, dude.
All right.
Dude, thanks for being on, guys. The Earth is Scott's